Hello, folks, and we are back. Thanks for hanging through the break with us. Now we're going to be going into our next game, Iona College versus St. Peter's U. Iona College, a little bit of a new look. St. Peter's U, more familiar names here, Dryad.
Yeah, like you said, we haven't really seen much of this team, but that just leaves me excited to what they're going to bring, to see and to figure out the level of this team. Is going to be the first time that we see Iona be played here in EGF, so a lot of high expectations for everyone that comes here. Such an awesome organization to work with. So I want to see what is going to happen between this match. Though, as always, we start with that control map, and that brings so many possibilities, right? It goes back now. Instead, is going to be Busan, but and is going to be downtown more than anything. That's when we see a lot of dive.
Oh, I love it seeing downtown. A lot of different considerations to make. You have that wide open space that make it friendly for the dive, as you were talking about. The high rooftops mean you can play a little bit of that sniper action going in either direction. But overall, we're just going to have to see what these teams are most comfortable with rolling out.
Yeah, it's gonna be all about the comfort more than anything, especially as they start figuring out each other. But St. Peter, that is a team that we already know. That is a team that we've seen before here in EGF, and we probably recognize a couple of these names as well being played. I want to see what they also have to bring to this season, how aggressive they're going to be playing throughout, and how much we're able to learn from last season as well. So, all about the aggression. We already see the Reinhardt and the Zarya exactly for that.
Now, both teams going to be looking to meet with about half their roster, a little bit more. It's going to be the Ryan and Zarya on both sides. These teams going to be looking to have perhaps a little bit of a slower fight, build up those Zarya charges to make things really hit hard. Majin will be in here with the Reaper, taking possession of that theater initially, but then regrouping with their team. The Iona onto the point to start things off, meaning that they are going to have that presence when the point does unlock. A good position to be in here. You just have to weather the storm. Right now, we're not seeing Sanchi land these bubbles too effectively. They're still missing a couple of shots, leaving a little bit of energy on the table, but a lot of ult charge coming in from Oblivions. Going to be first flip over to the side of Iona, and just like that, kills going in both directions. A little bit of a percentage given up here, but Oblivions eventually has to fall and give the point over.
Gonna be that initial control. Not a lot. That 10% is not really going to matter at all. And the next part is going to start with the nano already available. That is the biggest thing that they got out of that really quick fight. And on the other side, I'm so interested about seeing Ricardo playing the soldier. I want to see how effective it can be. I feel like this is one of the heroes that are not very effective. There is a tactical visor.
It might be a little bit easier when you have that auto lock on, and it's going to be that Lucio caught out in the midway. Gonna be looking like a couple of kills going in for St. Peter's, and so far they're doing a good job of holding their own and keeping that progress ticking.
So far working really well, and that soldier, even if they're not able to get most of the kills or that many kills, it is enough damage or at least enough space to put pressure into the enemy team of Iona. So St. Peter so far looking good, living up to our expectations, but the Graviton Surge once again going to be available, and in the meantime is Iona trying to get any ultimate. The nano is still available.
Yeah, look for some potential combos, Nachos and Ratchet maybe. It's going to be the pulse bomb going in, gets two off the back end. A great combination, especially since she's just going to be investing that nano boost, means they're not going to be able to get too much for it with the majority of the team, or a portion of the team already down. That Winston getting bullied out of his bubble, eventually chased down by Nachos, who's looking to lean in with this high charge Zarya, tear up that Ryan shield. And the Squishy's going to be pulling their attention to them for a moment as she once again caught out. Just like that, St. Peter's continues on a little bit of a roll here.
Yeah, the control continues to go for this team as they're getting more kills. The Reaper does get one, does get this Tracer, but that's not going to mean that much. This is already 86% and counting, and the opportunities for these attackers to try to get the point are low.
And we see Majin leaning in with that Death Blossom. He's going to go ahead and drop it right on the heads of the opponents. It's going to be the Immortality Field that comes in. Oblivion gets the nano boost and then drops a big Earth Shatter, taking down two, but not quite able to close the kill onto the Lucio. Point does flip for Iona. It's going to be another Tac Visor going out. The shield from the Reinhardt not able to hold against the Pulse Bomb. And just like that, St. Peter's gives up the point for a moment, but Ricardo helping their team push back in. It's going to be a sound barrier from Ben Trippin just to try to last a little bit longer. But that's only going to buy him a fraction of a second.
So far, the soldier is working out and getting a couple kills, more than a couple kills, especially towards the end. And St. Peter looking good so far. Iona, I mean, they tried to engage properly, but they had some difficulties. That was only downtown though, and I feel like more than anything, their composition was really odd. It was towards the end we saw the Reinhardt and the Winston, which don't usually work together, taking into account that both of them are going to be main tanks, and it puts a lot of there's one of them has to be peeling for the rest of the team, so it's deciding who's going to be, if it's going to be the runner who's supposed to be always at the front, or the Winston who's always diving, and there's no really solution for any of that. I feel like that is why Iona couldn't make that round go their way, but this is yet another one to go, and we'll see what happens.
And we are now starting to see the DPS change up for the side of Iona. Is going to be Majin going in on this soldier. The Tracer to match Ratchet versus Sam X might be the difference maker here. We will find out. Pile Driver coming in big from Nacho is going to be buying a bunch of ult charge, almost halfway to those mines already. And it's actually going to be going in with a lot of damage, but the rest of their team just getting torn up in the meantime. A rough give and take there for that tank player.
Everyone getting taken down so fast. A lot of the Tracer though, trying to stay alive for a little bit longer. It seems like it's not going to last though. It's like they were right in between there. It's finally getting taken down, and the percentage going once again for the side of St. Peter. I feel like I'm getting flashbacks of that last match that we saw.
Yeah, definitely very reminiscent of the dominance we saw previously, but now as we look ahead here, St. Peter's going to be looking to lean into this, waiting for their opponents in Iona to push into them. They know that they can take this dominant position. They might be feeling themselves a little bit here. Nachos setting up for a side sweep. Going to be using that grappling hook to try to get a little bit of speed. They have to be careful, though. Oblivions can stop that right in its tracks, and that looked very practiced going through that little window. Eventually going to be stunned out, slowed down, and taken into the dirt. As Iona College now equalizing the field. But with that, they lose one more. Another tack visor coming in. Ricardo being saved by the immortality field as the Roadhog gets booped away, taken down by the remainder. And it's like that, St. Peter's not out of this.
How's Ricardo doing so good in the soldier? I don't understand. It's working so well for him. So many kills happening and allowing the team for success as well. Only that ultimate was enough, and that allows them to save their own, to save that minefield, to save that shatter for the next fight. And all that Iona has right now is going to be the Nano.
That's all they have, plus an opening pick onto the Lucio, but with Majin and Samex going down, that's not a great start. You want both of your DPS back, and with that, Sigma just not keeping eyes off those odd angles. You're going to be taken down. A stick from a Ratchet deals a lot of damage to the Hog, but it's going to do not much but lean over a little bit of ult charge in this mid-fight. We're still seeing a lot of action shake back and forth. That Tracer Ratchet has to blink away, just get regrouped with their team, and now St. Peter's look like they might be stumbling on the back foot here, but only 10 seconds separates them from victory. It's going to be the nano boost onto the Roadhog. Anti-nade on the Celeste Squad makes them a vulnerable target, but that Roadhog's not able to land any shots despite a great opening with the nano and the anti-nade. Celeste Squad has the Earth Shatter. Do they go for it? They do. Lands onto two. Going to be taking down that Tracer. The Iona, however, able to stabilize, not get themselves taken out quite yet. It's going to be that Reinhardt receiving a bunch of healing from the Baptiste. The support line coming in from St. Peter's in a large fashion, allowing everybody to stay alive. Just like that, the cleanup is, and Ricardo not going to be able to get that final tack visor. We're going to be happy with the round win.
That was pretty fast. I mean, St. Peter's, they're able to get that right away. So, again, I'm getting flashbacks from the last match, especially with Ricardo. I mean, so far doing so good on this soldier, which it almost seems like it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we see soldiers come out when teams are just a little bit more generalist. They don't know necessarily how they want to apply their strategy. They just want something a little bit more reliable. But so far, it seems like Ricardo just fitting right into whatever they have planned, and it's working in a great way.
Yeah, it's working out. So, I mean, I feel like I almost want to continue to see the soldier in other maps. But I guess we have to see what teams decide to work with. This map was all about St. Peter. There was no opportunity for Iona to take any control at any time, and that put things really difficult. I feel like they had the right initiation. I was mentioning, I was questioning the Reinhardt and the Winston because they don't really work that well together. You want to have one of those off tanks to help you out, but I feel like they are playing the right heroes. It's just a matter of organizing, all about that communication to make a difference on the other maps.
Absolutely, and As we look ahead, it was going to be Busan going St. Peter's way, and now we have to see if Eichenwald will be in a similar fashion. We are going to be seeing what look like a couple of swaps coming in from Iona. It's going to be the main tank player, I believe, going to be swapped up. It's going to be Krev coming online. So maybe we see that change out a little bit. It looks like they may also be changing one of their supports out. Maybe they have something a little bit more specifically planned in terms of their composition, or maybe they just want to deal with St. Peter's in a special way.
And I like that. I like seeing those changes coming through for teams. I feel like they are always beneficial, and it's always a good indication that there is communication happening for the team. Maybe the maps that they scrim, it was with some players in one maps, with some other players in other maps, and this might be the case for Iona and what they're going to be bringing for Eichenwald, where we talked about it on the last match. We can see a lot of variety, a lot of different compositions coming through. We didn't really see much in the last match, but I feel like Iona, they have something hidden that they're going to show us here.
I certainly hope so. We are getting word it's going to be Lightower who comes in as that new support for Iona College. So a nice look, hopefully, coming out for this team might be the shakeup with Krev and Lightower coming in on Eichenwald that can really provide that change. I wonder exactly how these players are going to fit into the team compositions. I think it's certain to say that we haven't seen enough of Iona to have any definite clue.
Yeah, we don't know yet what those players like to play to be able to predict properly. So it's all going to be good surprise to see. And on Iconwall, we talked about it. There's no prediction that we can make for this team because anything can be brought into the table when it comes to Iconwall, when it comes to dive, when it comes to poke compositions. Even sometimes we see the Orisa's double shield working out. Sometimes we see a rush being really effective. A dive. There's so many possibilities that can be working for this team, but at least they're showing us that they have enough players to be able to bring a lot of different things that ideally are not the way that we saw in the last map.
Yeah, hopefully, if you're a fan of Iona College, you see a little bit of that change up in their gameplay style and it comes out with them getting the point on Eichenwald. Only time will tell, and the gameplay, of course, as we start to look ahead here, Dryad. But do you think there have been any particular looks that either St. Peter's or Iona, aside from the Soldier, have been looking really strong or perhaps a little bit more vulnerable on?
I think it's been all about the soldier. I mean, if we talk about strengths, it has to be the soldier, and it's not even the fact that he's playing soldier; is the fact that it is working out. That shows that they're probably able to play a lot of other heroes at such a high level, because soldier is one of those heroes that, I mean, usually doesn't really work out. Doesn't have the strongest kit compared to everyone else, especially to the newest heroes. I mean, we think about Echo, for example, and Echo's abilities, they're nothing compared like soldiers. So that's usually why you're more hesitant. Even using soldier's ultimate, I feel like it's worse. I've heard that it's worse compared to just shooting without using your ultimate. But they were able to get kills with and without the ultimate being so effective. Really good positioning, which is really what's allowing them to be so successful.
And I don't want to say this is a definite in their play style, but it's something I noticed on Busan where they would have Ricardo kind of just on not like an absolute flank, but just cutting a different angle, right? Or right at the choke. So we saw on downtown that Lucio would get too far out, the tac visor gets activated, and the Lucio trying to regroup with their team opens himself up to that soldier angle, ironically killing him because of it. Or they'd be taking a side angle where the Sigma's not able to block damage from both sides. I really like the way we're seeing Ricardo and the team as a whole of St. Peter's play this. I just hope it can still find the same value in Eichenwald if they want to come up with the win here.
Yeah, and another reason why Soldier's so interesting is because of a little bit of something that you mentioned is that it is really it is very similar to Genji. I feel like in the sense that you alone cannot be successful. Is the team really allowing you to be successful? And that is exactly what we're seeing from the side of St. Peter. That was so effective. And now, even potentially for the side of Iona, who are looking to Soldier.
And it's not a bad idea in theory. If you're Iona, you might expect, perhaps a Pharah to come out on those attacking teams. Pharah can be very good on Eichenwald. We've seen it a couple times historically, I'd say, if I'm being a little bit generous here, Dryad. But we are going to have a few seconds before those gates open. It's going to be Ratchet blasting off on that Pharah, so Samex has the opportunity to shine, and Majin getting it with the oldest trick in the book, the Trap and Det Pack. going to be taking down the soldier. Both soldiers going to be taken down as a matter of fact, but St. Peter's not getting caught or catching their opponents off guard perhaps a little bit here, just going in with some severe aggression. Gonna be Ratchet trying to lean in some of those rockets, get some early damage, and certainly buy enough space for Min Min to get a resurrect on to Sellout Squad. And with that, now St. Peter's has the opportunity to continue to pry some of that damage. They have to be careful of that soldier. If you're one of the flying duo, just make sure you don't take any unnecessary, unwanted damage. As now Ratchet continues to throw in the rockets here, fighting on even ground, not going to necessarily work out the way they want. They are so close to that rocket barrage. They might have it up before this fight ends, and even if they don't, well, they'll have it for the next one.
Oh, and the barrage as well is going to come through. That's going to guarantee the last couple kills happening for the side of St. Peter's. They're going to start moving that payload as well, and they look really good. A couple ultimates as well. The flux, more than anything, the amplification should be enough to create the space necessary to pass at least this bridge and also take control of the high ground.
Yeah, it's just going to be Ricardo trying to hold down as that soldier, preventing or at least slowing down the side of Iona, getting in any push that they can. Ricardo taking down a one. Majin not going to be able to get any more kills as that Junkrat for the time being. However, Sellout Squad taking a wailing. St. Peter's might be losing a little bit of their tank line in this battle. Ricardo trying to dance around their opponent in Sam X. Sam X, however, not looking great for this duel. Barely losing out because of that one. It's going to be the Earth Shatter coming in. Sellout Squad able to land onto two. Majin taken down during the Deadeye. Right now, we're seeing the Gravitic Flux come in from Nachos, trying to just get the entirety of this team weakened. A nice pin coming in, but it drives Sellout Squad just a little bit too far. Now St. Peter's has to take a backup. Oblivion's leading the charge, has the Earth Shatter of their own. Perhaps won't be looking to use it.
It's such a missed fight as well. I feel like all I've seen are the Reinhardts charging from one side to another. We see it again. Really good immortality just to keep the Sigma alive, and they're managing to do so. They are separating as well the side of Iona, who are just trying to get some control.
Oh, a very nice Earth Shatter coming in. Both tanks getting hit by the anti-nade. Nachos and Sellout Squad not able to heal themselves, or not able to receive healing from their supports. I should say it's going to be Ricardo coming with the attack visor combo with the amplification field, taking down two. Going to be leaning in, getting Kreb with the straight bullet as they jump over the balconies. Just like that, the cart looking on its way to second.
It was such a weird fight as well. I mean, it was the kills coming back and forth, but it was overall the fight, a very long fight going for the set of Team Peter, who are about to get the second point. It's like no one is even going to stop it. Nope, they are all on the other side. The fight, it seems like it hasn't stopped.
It really does feel like that, and we're seeing a continuation here even as this Gravitic Flux goes through. Ratchet continuing to try to throw rockets down. A nice Gravitic Flux comboed with that rocket barrage, going to make anybody who touches the floor all that much weaker. Now as the attack visor comes through, Sam X not able to take too much cover, but as soon as that attack visor ends, a couple headshots rattled into their opponent. Sam X Oblivions receiving the nano boost. We haven't seen the Roadhogs get too much benefit from these nano boosts historically, but it's enough to at least sway the attacking team for now.
Absolutely, that is going to be enough, and they really needed a little bit of calm before the storm. They also take down this Pharah immediately for this set of Team Peter, so they definitely have to wait. Their rest is not going to be possible at all.
Now, a little bit too risky of a spot for the res. Majin creeping around, waiting for that Deadeye as soon as the side of St. Peter's pushes a little bit too high up. Oh, but he takes out the soldier. It's going to be Ricardo finally dealt with in the most efficient fashion. The flash and fan coming through. Trying to catch the Mercy, can't quite make it connect, but does take out that attack visor either way you like it. Now Majin perhaps getting a bit too aggressive, a little bit too cocksure off the back of that play. Now with the Gravitic Flux coming in, it's going to be the entire team of the defensive side weakened, especially with this Earth Shatter going in. Sam X, Krev, Light Tower all taken down. And with that, the cart continues to move ever forward.
There was a little bit of the stop that we saw happening for the defense, really good control, but they lost it again, and the payload is going to keep moving. They have the defensive spawn that is going to benefit them a little bit more, but they need those ultimates, especially the nano now.
And with that amplification coming out, Ratchet able to deal a lot more damage, even without that amplification. The nano boost onto Oblivions buys them a lot of time and perhaps a lot of damage onto that cart. We're seeing the hit scan characters come out from Iona College in an excellent performance here, at least able to mitigate this fight. It's going to be the Ashe taken down. And without that Mercy, having that res online, they won't be able to come back on in the immediate. Ricardo just using their legs to try to get away.
There's a lot of time still though for the attackers, so they're not worried yet. They want to get an initial pick to start this off. I mean, if you look at the defense, they have maybe one ultimate coming up, the Flux, and besides that, there's nothing else.
Opportunity for the res to come through here. Gonna be taken, but that means that gonna be a little less healing on the field for the rest of the team. That Baptiste so low. Light Tower, however, equally low, has to receive that nano boost just to try to make it happen. A lot of damage not able to be capitalized on, however. Ricardo gonna be throwing in the attack visor, trying to find anybody, as well as Bob, as well as the Gravitic Flux. St. Peter's certainly dumping the payload here, trying to get every inch they can from the cart. Samac's going to be eventually taking down the objective, moves to that final slot, and the third point is achieved.
They had to stop for a second, and that was a really good fight as well for the side of St. Peter's. They were passive, they backed up, the soldier was distracting the enemy team, and they took the advantage once the Flux came out, and once it got thrown to the floor. That's when all the kills started to happen out of nowhere, everyone using those ultimates at once, and usually I'd be very hesitant to use that many ultimates at once because you have your risk of wasting them, but they did in a really good matter. They have over 2 minutes in case we go into another round. This is now all about what Iona can do. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. They had a good moment on this third part of the defense, but the real question is how good they are at attacking.
St. Peter's definitely has a lot more of the time in the time bank, so Iona College gonna have to really try to hustle there. St. Peter's gonna be happy with pretty much any time they can burn off the time clock.
Yeah, anytime, honestly. It is a very difficult situation that we see happening for the set of Iona. But again, this is the real test that we're going to see for this team. There's a lot of potential. This is the beginning of the season, a lot of opportunities to improve, but they want to leave a good impression to everyone watching, and that is exactly what they're going to try to do. Good composition so far is going to be the rush with the Ana as well, so they're going to try to build the nano before anything else before going in.
Yeah, the attempt is certainly going to be there. Majin taking a little bit of damage, and just like that, immediately taken off the field. Ricardo, the soldier, that's going to be left up to Ratchet, now just leaning in on that Junkrat. It's going to be a little bit of reversal of roles here. St. Peter's the one finding the initial kills with the Junkrat. Oblivion's having their shield destroyed. It's going to be in a rough spot to try to get any movement up ahead. Taking a lot of damage, but these supports really trying to apply that much healing that they can into Oblivion's, who tries to take the lead but can't quite find it. His DPS just keep getting picked off one by one.
The soldier and the Junkrat, that is so much damage coming through for this team of St. Peter's, and they're just going in. They feel really confident. You can definitely tell they have the ultimate. They're going to have the tire available, and again, it was all about building the support ultimates for the set of Iona, but even then, there's so much damage happening for the set of St. Peter that they're able to even shut down someone getting nano.
As we can see here, see Ricardo holding up in the higher areas, ready to drop that tire, but it's going to be the amplification matrix committed. That is such a risky bet, especially as that tire is dropping. It's going to be Ratchet cleaning up the rest of the kills. Nobody from the side of Iona able to touch.
Even if you have the confidence that the enemy team used both the visor and the tire, there's another 4 ultimates waiting for you. That's a good opening, though. The Ana, out of anyone else, getting Ratchet.
A good opportunity here for the side of Iona. The question is, can they make it count? We're already seeing them be a little bit anemic here, and that's not going to be helped by the fact that there is an amplification matrix in front of this big old choke. It's going to be St. Peter's continuing to hold time by that space, especially with the sprint ability coming in from Ratchet. It's going to be time dying short for Iona, who are just continuing to swing away here. Not sure it's the way to go, but it's the way they have to, especially with Majin dropping.
2 kills as well, and kills actually continue to happen. An anti-nade, but that's not going to affect Ricardo too much. Backs up for a couple seconds, still has another tire to use, and the res is even going to come through for the soldier.
We do see a lot of commitment here from St. Peter's. No surprise, though, they just want to keep this momentum rolling. They've already burnt a lot of time off the clock. It's going to be the tire coming through the Tracer, taking down the Junkrat in exchange for her own life. So with that, now it's going to be a 5-on-5 game here. Since you're going to be throwing in the Nano, Oblivion's going to be swinging into Light Tower's grab as well. The Dragon's flying. A lot of commitment of ults here. It's going to be the Soldier taken down. Nachos finally getting the kill with the Gravitic Flux. St. Peter's were looking a little bit thin, but now they're going to be coming back strong.
Just a matter of the timing for a couple seconds. The flux teaming, the bubble was already going for this Reinhardt, so it was down by the time he dropped and the kills were already happening. They're even pushing the spawn.
And this is gonna be rough if you're on the side of Iona. You're bringing out the Bastion just to try to get any break, any opportunity to weaken those double shields that are coming through from St. Peter's. You're just not having any luck of it just quite yet. It's gonna be the Earth Shatter that goes in, but Sellout Squad hits 2. Their opponent does not. Oblivion's hitting 0. And with that, Sellout Squad still seems to be the one to drop. It's going to be the Attack Visor coming out. Ratchet not able to find too much. Has to just take a quick retreat. Trying to pepper in any damage they can, but now looking to separate themselves, put themselves onto some high ground, even if you give up this first point, which it doesn't look like St. Peter's is content to do. You're still going to have a lot of time in the time bank. Doesn't matter, though. 2 already dropping for the side of Iona. It's going to be the Gravitic Flux coming in. That Ana does not look long for this world. Nope, she breaks her kneecaps upon falling. The rest onto the Reinhardt coming through, despite the nano, eventually will be put into the ground. Majin on high, eventually cut short as well. It's all up to the lone Lucio, the lone Tracer. Little left for this world as overtime burns down, and just like that, St. Peter's come out victorious on Eichenwald.
Really good job. I mean, there was a lot of aggression. There were a lot of mistakes as well going for this side of St. Peter's, but they were able to capitalize out of the mistakes as well that Iona committed, to the point that they were even going to their spawn. It was so good. The Soldier, the Junkrat, more than anything, I thought was a very interesting addition, because not everyone wants to go with this Junkrat, but they were able to get value out of so many tires. The flux that we saw towards the end, they were able to build those ultimates really quickly just because of the damage that everyone was putting in.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw a lot of damage as we saw those kind of plays going through. But so far, it feels like St. Peter's on a little bit of a roll here. Iona not really putting up too much of a defense. I mean, St. Peter's was able to get through all 3 with a little over 2 minutes left. That's a great pace to set on Eichenwald. A lot of teams struggle, particularly on that 3rd point. No struggle in sight for St. Peter's.
Yeah, I mean, we have to see. I thought we talked about it. There were a couple changes coming in for the set of Iona, and that could mean a change in composition. And sure, we saw a couple of things going differently, but the narrative of where the map or who's going to take the map has been the same two times in a row now. St. Peter's taking us to match point, and Iona at a point where even if they make the changes, they need to at least get one map to have that confidence.
Yeah, an unfortunate spot where now just improving is not good enough. You need to come out with the victory 3 times in a row. It's going to be a tough ask for Iona, but they're going to have a little bit of a break here, Dryad, to try to regroup, make that mental change happen. We are going to be taking a short break, folks, so stick around. We'll see the conclusion of this match after this. And just like that, we are back, folks. It's going to be Iona versus St. Peter's University. And St. Peter's, again, going to be the team that's on the run this time around. They are running away with the scoreline. Things not looking so great for Iona as we head in to our third map of Hanamura.
Match point already, and St. Peter is looking really good so far. It seems like even better than last season. I want to see how this is going to end up. Like you said, it is going to be Hanamura, and this is where things get difficult. Today, at least on the last match, we didn't see the second part of the map.
Yeah, we have not seen that fight take place inside the actual temple dojo. Either way, hopefully we see it this time around. It doesn't look like these teams are going to be as poke composition focused, at least not yet. We'll see if that changes along the lines as these teams still getting their character picked out.
A couple more decisions to make, especially for the attackers, but the defense bringing a little bit of the same for the set of Iona, a little bit of the same kind of composition, and this Junkrat holding really close.
Oh, that almost got way too much value. If Oblivions had set that up just a second earlier, maybe they get the kill onto Ricardo. But Nacho's going to be having the projected barrier there for them, dropping the trap so they don't get chased too aggressively. And now a Junkrat just going to be able to tuck themselves into the back of the team. Not able to regroup, however, trying to use those concussion mines to try to get themselves some move. But just like this, the Simstrat coming through for St. Peter's. This is an oldie but a goodie, folks. We're seeing a lot of progress being made for St. Peter's. It looks like we might even see the second half of this map.
Oh, wait. We are going to see the second part of the map. And that was actually insanely fast from St. Peter. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
From this team, we expected a lot of progression. They don't have any ultimates yet, but they already want to push in.
Seeing a lot of damage come through from Ricardo, especially if those shields start getting into play here. That Sim going to be able to ramp up that weapon for free, or just play a little bit of dodgeball as that damage certainly coming through. Ricardo having to throw down some mines, though. It looks like St. Peter's struggling a little bit. The respawn just a little bit too quick for Iona. Going to be able to push away St. Peter's, at least the majority of the team for the time being.
Absolutely, the Blizzard, it is going to be available. The Nano to initiate the fight has to happen for the setup Iona. This is one chance that they have. They have the spawn advantage as well. Big opportunities for them here. And the attackers, they have to slow it down a little bit.
Attackers are going to have to take some time, but very important to note, Nacho still in this game, did not die on that last push, meaning they're able to keep a lot of that charge. St. Peter's going to be throwing in the amplification matrix as well as the Blizzard. Ricardo coming in on the Widowmaker, so we are seeing a little bit of that sniper action we were talking about at the beginning here. Dryad as Oblivions trying to make something happen with that Junkrat, not going to be able to, chase down by the Lucio, and now Ricardo just shaking their hands like a fiend right now, not able to land the headshots, but still will be getting the victory here, or at least the full completion of 2 points.
Absolutely. 5 minutes. That is insane for this team. They decided to push in, like I said, before they got any ultimates. Really good way to initiate, pretty much catching the enemy off guard. They had to play passive for a couple of seconds, but nonetheless, it was really effective what the side of St. Peter was able to do. The defense of Iona not looking as strong as they wanted to, even on that second point, and that is going to put even more pressure to perform to such a high level on this attacking side, where ideally you want to have as much time as the enemy team, but that is not very possible for anyone. I mean, how often do we see 5 minutes?
It's certainly not very often at all, but a large part of that is due, in course, to just St. Peter's having an excellent first push. They got the Sims teleporter right on up, despite Iona College trying to get those early kills with the Junkrat. Just did not connect, and then the Junkrat going down early, it was just 1 foot behind the upper cat team.
And we talked about it in the last map, when we see the Bastion, this is when we start getting worried. This time around is the side of St. Peter bringing it as well. So different possibilities, but as of right now, there's going to be a battle all the Bastions to see who's able to come up on top.
Very interesting here. St. Peter's not going to be using that Sim that we see quite often for the defense to get that Bastion quickly repositioned. Instead, just going to be placing Ratchet on potentially just one solid point of contact. Going to be Oblivion's popped up into the air, immediately taken down, tries to focus that wrecking ball, but picked off by Ricardo. Expect nothing less from the St. Peter's team at this point. Stuttgart tries to go out, but Ricardo still just standing on high, raining down some free shots to the Immortality field that has to go out. But now we're seeing this attacking team go back, having to bend the knee a little bit here.
That first kill, though, happening already. This Metro getting taken down. And Iona, they have to back up a couple seconds. They are having difficulty pushing in, especially with this Bastion and the Hanzo as well, who are so good at shield breaking.
Seeing Sanji lean in with the kinetic grasp, only able to grab a couple bullets from the Bastion, not able to lean in, lead their team into a faithful charge. But now, as Ratchet continues to just fire away, building up towards half of their ultimate, Sellout Squad has this Earthshatter. Keep eyes out for it. They may be looking to get aggressive with it. This is what the positioning seemed to be before they saw Light Tower come out with that shield fully intact. It's going to be the Nano onto the Bastion, see what they can find. It's going to be the turnaround, the whip with the Earthshatter. Going to be finding 2 off the back end with Ratchet. Now with this, the attacking team has to take a step back and try to recompose themselves.
A little bit of control, at least for a couple of seconds, as Dragons are going to be available in the meantime instead of St. Peter's. That's going to allow them to create space, but sometimes, like this, they don't really need it, as there's 2 kills happening for the Bastion, guaranteeing a little bit more control, even more control, and there's half the time remaining.
Now, as we look ahead, Ricardo has these Dragons. Once again, we've seen these Dragons be used so well at just separating these teams and causing some pressure. But it's going to be Iona starting things off with a kill onto Nachos. Once again, we'll see if they can capitalize on it, but they're going to be slowed down by these Dragons. Ricardo not allowing anybody to push ahead and get too much forward momentum. It's going to be the teleporter coming through Samex, allowing their team to get nestled right up onto point, but nobody really able to do too much with Ratchet bringing out the tank configuration. Eventually the Sim brings out the Sim wall at Photon Barrier, going to be blocking a lot of the damage, but doesn't really matter. It's going to be the Reinhardt swings, the grappling hook. They don't care about the walls. They're going to be swinging through either way.
Yeah, they're not going to stop here. They do not want to stop here for the set of St. Peter's. They have been doing so well. They have to keep it going. 1 minute and 30. A lot less opportunities, and they're going to initiate that next fight with the minefield.
Nachos using that minefield very far forward, separating the Reinhardt from the rest. Light Tower just not able to keep up with the damage. Those healers separated from their main tank, going to be unable to provide that life sustain they need.
For a little bit more as well, but the time is running out. There's not even a proper engagement that we're able to see for Iona. Everyone is getting taken down. As I say that, though, this is the second time that the Ana initiates the fight.
We are going to be seeing the Doomfist come out from Oblivions. It's a nice change, but it might be a bit too late, especially with less than a minute left on this clock. The Ricardo with the sonar arrow. Krev taken down by just a few errant bullets. Ratchet able to get the damage in. And with this, Samex able to ferry their team at least to a little bit of safety, but this is looking like it might be one of the last pushes, if not the last push. And it's going to be slowed down by these Dragons, preventing that upward movement. Now as the Hanzo continues to push up the wrecking ball back onto the field, popping everybody up, making Ratchet just have a clay pigeon fest in there. Nano boost goes on to the Reinhardt. Light Tower not able to connect with the pin. Now just like this, St. Peter's able to nestle themselves, and it's going to be an uncomfortable push that has to come through from Iona. They can't quite manage it, especially with them losing one after another of their members like this.
One by one, they're getting taken down, and the opportunities to win this map, they are disappearing. 2 kills though, but the Baptiste immediately getting taken down. It seems like this is going to be it. St. Peter will be taking this map.
Ratchet gonna be put to sleep and cleaned up. It looks like the opportunity was almost there for Iona, especially with that Bastion going down, but not gonna quite be the case. Cleanup is there, and St. Peter's is gonna be taking this in a 3-0. A little bit of a continuation of what we've been seeing, Dryad.
Yep, 2 3-0s in a row, and a little bit, I feel like I felt it at the beginning in that first map, that I was getting flashbacks from the last match that we saw, and it went very similar, but I feel like Iona definitely put up a good fight. They are new here in EGF, there's a lot of things to improve, but I feel like they had the right steps, so it's a matter of learning throughout the season. It's a long season to go. They have multiple weeks to fix their mistakes, and in the meantime, St. Peter, they're able to get away with that first win.
Yeah, St. Peter's going to be feeling pretty good about that one as they come out with the 3-0, as we mentioned before. Always nice to start the season off just like that, folks. We are going to be taking a quick break before we hop into the interview booth, so stick around. You won't want to miss it.
Bet.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for hanging in there. And we are back in our interview booth. We're sitting here with Sellout from St. Peter's. Sellout, hello, welcome, and congratulations.
Yeah, hi guys. It's nice to be on. How y'all doing?
Well, so far we're doing pretty good. You gave us a quick show, you gave us a quick match, so not as much casting as I'd like to have gotten done, but I'm sure from you guys' perspective, you'll take that loss. But I want to get kind of into the nitty gritty here.
Hmm hmm
It's been a while since we've seen teams here at EGF, and I always like to ask when we come off these long breaks, what did you guys do to stay warm to prevent that that complacency from sneaking in? How'd you guys maintain your standards?
Honestly, we just played a lot. Our coach, he kind of told us to like join like other leagues over like the break, so that we wouldn't like we'd get more competitive, or like we'd learn a lot more competitively if we each joined like a separate league, so we could all bring it back together.
Okay, all right.
I have a question. So tell me a little bit about the soldier pick. I want to know why.
Uh, Honestly, I don't want to give our strategy away too much, but for
Okay.
Ricardo, I just tell him to pick his scans. I tell him to click on people. He does it. So we picked
Okay.
soldier. It kind of worked out.
Yeah, I mean it did work out. Is there any sort
Yeah,
of preparation that you take on like a team by team scenario, or is it just very general?
um, I'm not gonna say we scout teams, but we do. But
Okay.
so we
Thanks.
so we do scout teams, and we kind of like draft team comps around people.
Mm.
But honestly, this one was kind of like in the moment. Ricky was like, "Guys, like trust me on the soldier." And we're a team, so we were like, "Trust," and we had him.
Well, I mean, we certainly love seeing the results. We love seeing that gameplay here. Sellout, we've had to take a little bit longer to get this interview set up, so we might have to cut it a little bit short here, but that doesn't mean we're not going to give you the opportunity for any shout outs you may feel necessary. Your team, your family, whoever you want, you have the floor.
I got you. First things first. Shout out 20DX. Shout out Goonman. Shout out the coach. Shout out all our former players. Riggs, Izzy, George. This one was for you guys. Shout out Allison. That's about it.
All right, Sellout. A big list of shout outs there, but hey, when you win matches like this, I'm sure there will be many more. Once again,
True,
congratulations,
true.
my friend, and thanks for hopping in here with us.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a nice night.
You too. And with that, Dryad, we are about ready to conclude this St. Peter's versus Iona matchup. However, we are not quite done yet. We have one more match to go here tonight, folks, so make sure you stick around. We'll be back in just a little bit with our final match of the night.